Hi, this is Tim Reeves, and welcome to the Power of ERDC podcast. Along with my co-host this time, a very rare occasion, two of us together is Chris Kiefer, and today we have a special episode that's being filmed at a unique event that's held every 2 years at ERDC to promote cross-laboratory collaboration. The RD Workshop series brings researchers from each of ERDC's 7 laboratories together into one location to discuss their projects and share ideas with colleagues from different laboratories. It is a time where the seeds of future innovation are sown.
Joining us to discuss this year's event, RD26, are two of the event's organizers. Kara Kurilla is chief of the River and Estuarine Engineering branch at ERDC's Coastal and Hydraulics Laboratory. Kara, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, and Lauren May is the acting chief of the Environmental Process branch at ERDC's Environmental Laboratory. Lauren, great to have you.
Thanks for having me here.
And we have a studio audience we are actually filming this in RD26, and it starts a series of podcasts that'll be coming out. We're going to film here in the atrium of ERDC's headquarters building, not the social hour, which is going on now. So we apologize in advance for anything our audience may see or hear, but y'all are going to keep it clean and concise and professional. I know that. So Kara, I'm going to start with you. Why does ERDC host an RD event like this series? How does this event start?
So this event started in fiscal year 2018 through ERDC's Emerging Leader Program, which is the third set of leadership development programs that we have here at ERDC after LDP, Leadership Development Program 1 and 2. And this workshop was started as a way to, like you mentioned in the beginning, bring in the cross-lab collaboration for everyone, especially new researchers, to come down and present their research that they've been doing, the teams they've been on, and look at different ways that people who work on similar tasks or across portfolios of different programs, both civil and military, direct how they work in different environments, because we have 7 different labs and everybody's going to do it differently. But at the core of ERDC is our core mission for USACE. So seeing how different groups do that research and how we can bring it all together really helps us hone in and understand how all of our work works together to support ERDC's missions.
So I'll ask one more quick. So Lauren, this is the 5th one so far. How have these workshops evolved from RD18 to today?
Yeah, so each year it's getting bigger and bigger. This year we've had almost 400 presentations, whether they're technical talks or oral presentations. Behind us you may be able to see some posters that are set up here in the atrium. And with each year it gets bigger, we're allowed to have our remote folks come in because there's 4 people here in 4 labs here in Vicksburg. And so we're able to welcome all of those folks and come in, and so it just gets larger with every time. And we've been able to bring in keynote speakers from across USACE. We actually brought in industry speaker this time as well. So each time we've been growing and expanding our audience.
Sure. Kara, you mentioned at the top that one of the points of this event is about cross-laboratory pollination. Why is that important, and what makes that difficult at an organization like ERDC?
Of course. It's important because like I mentioned, we have, and like Lauren mentioned, we have 4 labs here in Vicksburg. We kind of, for the most part, know what each of the labs here does because we either know each other because our kids go to school together or we might go to church together. So we kind of know about each other. But we have 3 labs who are in 3 different states. They don't even get to collaborate together.
People who don't know, just to say, we've got a lab in Illinois, our Construction Engineering Research Laboratory. We are Cold Regions Research and Engineering Laboratory in New Hampshire, Geospatial Research Laboratory in Alexandria, Virginia. So like you said, they are all spread out.
Yes, and they don't get to collaborate with each other. So I got 3 in 3 separate states and then 4 here in Vicksburg. So we have an advantage here in Vicksburg to collaborate across our different areas. But the cross-laboratory collaboration, especially with the other labs, is extremely important because if we don't force ourselves to meet with them to learn their research, we can't come together as one ERDC and do everything together to move towards our mission that we have. Because then you lose that talking point, and then you lose the research itself. So the only people that would really know what's going on is like the program managers who are handling it at a programmatic level. They're the only ones that know what research is done outside of Vicksburg. And again, that's one of the things that makes it so difficult. So this RD event was created to help that cross-pollination. So people can come down, you can meet new people, you can socialize like we see behind us and talk to those people about, hey, you and I do similar work. How do you do it? Because I'm having this problem. Do you have that same problem, or what do you do to help solve this sticking point that I'm having maybe in one of my programs? And it just helps expand that networking that we all know and love to do because we all enjoy what we do.
Bring your forces you together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that's why it's so important. And again, one of the challenges is just the fact that we have 3 labs in 3 different states, and we have to make sure that we are including them in all of our work, being, the housing part here in Vicksburg with our 4 labs, having it here, bring them all here, which is one of the great things that Lauren mentioned about this event this year. We were able to bring all of our remote folks down to meet. So we're meeting people for the very first time that normally we only talk through via email or Teams meetings. And so I hope those answer both of your questions.
I guess we talk a lot about the power of ERDC. That's the name of this podcast. But, kind of the whole idea that when you get cross-disciplinary research, when you get cross-laboratory research, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. But, all these creative ideas can emerge, when you bring together a biologist and a structure expert and a geospatial expert, and you never know kind of what they come up with. And I guess that's kind of the sort of thing that comes out of an event like this.
Oh, yes,
as it
100%.
Represents. Yeah. Lauren, talk about how this event does that. How does the RD Workshop Series enable the cross-pollination of ideas?
Right, so it brings all of us together, and I'm probably going to touch on maybe not a good news story, but by making connections with others, like a Souls team in environmental lab, there's Souls team in CHL, about this topic, I'm having issues. So the end goal is to create products, have deliverables, and be on projects together across the different labs, but also at the same time, we're making those connections with subject matter experts that maybe we didn't know were there before. It's just really bringing visibility to everyone here that maybe we hadn't had a chance to talk to.
Yeah, how does this, you kind of alluded to it, but how does this accelerate, does it have a way of accelerating the opportunity to find a solution to a problem faster? Because like we talked about, you're usually only talking to somebody by email or Teams, but now you're, over lunch, you're now able to say, hey, let's find a way to speed this up, or by having that conversation, you can accelerate that. So,
yeah. So instead of having to do extensive research on maybe finding the right person to talk to or department, we've met the right person. Let's have a phone call. Let's go meet. Let's go have coffee together right here. Let's go have lunch together, and we're able to troubleshoot that problem. Or they can direct you in another area that maybe we'll get that problem solved. We'll do it quicker, we'll do it faster, we'll do it cheaper by making these connections here at RH26.
Yeah, sure.
So you talked to, I'm going to jump off script here, so I apologize. For the audience, they've been preparing for days for this. So as you've come together in putting this together, what are some things you are looking for to make ERDC stronger? How does this make ERDC stronger? I think you kind of touched on it, but what are some of the tangible things that make ERDC stronger because of events like this? So stumper quiet. Just stump. Yeah, right.
Valen.
I like how Kara's just sitting this out.
So she looked over here. So, well, actually, I'm going to touch on the theme of RD.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
We're using Lieutenant General Graham's priorities of today, tomorrow, always, and the always portion kind of refers to the people at ERDC, and that's really what makes us strong here, are the people. So we by making these connections, building these relationships. We've been saying the whole time we're strengthening connections for RD26. And while not tangible, that's what makes ERDC strong. And by having the subject matter experts here together in the same room, we're solving the next problem for the nation, the warfighter.
And I was looking at her because she answered the previous one, so I was giving her a chance to go first. In my mind, something that's tangible is, again, the connections. And I'll speak from a personal thing. As part of ELG, we have folks from all 7 labs. And there is one particular person, Mr. Clinton Sender, and he and Lauren and I have developed a working relationship where we now know, hey, if I need something and it's where he is, I'm just going to shoot him a Teams message. I'm just going to give him a call. And it's being able to make the introduction and learn more about them at this event, about what they do, the research they do, who they might work with, because they might know somebody that you work with as well. And it's that tangible aspect for me that it plants that seed for you to have somebody to reach out to in the future if you need it. So while it's not tangible like, a note card or a report that comes out of it, it's the networking that you have that you can then play a role. And I know we just saw the panel that was in there, and one of the things they talked about was just meeting people. Just meeting people, because the more people that know you and they know what you do and they know the type of work that you do and where you want to go, that not only helps your career, but it also helps develop a stronger ERDC, because then you're able to find the person that you might not have known would have fit this role. But by seeing them present and learning more about them, you're able to go, hey, I see this strength in you. Maybe you should try this position right here, or try looking at this. And having that helps us put the right people with the right experience in the right position, which is one of the things we touched on this morning.
Right.
To help build a stronger, more powerful ERDC.
Sure.
You're both in leadership positions now. Looking back at your career as researchers, kind of what are some of your past experiences with the RD Workshop Series, and kind of how has it helped each of you advance in your careers?
I think RD20, or the RD event in general, was one of the first times as a junior researcher I was able to present my research. It's right here in the hometown, Fosterlow, come to. It's a safe environment. We're presenting to our friends and our coworkers, and so starting there, it gave me the experience to speak on a scientific, technical level, and from there, you kind of grow through these LGP courses and everything. We're now on emerging leaders, and now as a supervisor, I'm able to see through a different lens, like, oh, this is a great opportunity for these young researchers to share their work, and our expert SMEs are letting that happen. They're there by their side, allowing them to showcase their work and make those connections.
I'd imagine too, as a young researcher, was it intimidating? I guess the first time, challenging a thesis or your work. I mean, you're having to stand up and defend it in a whole different environment. I would imagine that's got to be unique and scary, or whatever the case may be. But you're able to get it out, like you said, among friends.
Yes, absolutely. The first time you ever present's terrifying. Even today, being up on stage terrifies. But yeah, it's the relatively safe environment, and the questions that you do get, are able to field those with ease usually.
I'll ask you this question. How does this event, y'all have come through it, you touched on the ELG, the Emerging Leaders Group, and the Leadership Development Program. How does this event, as branch chiefs and supervisory roles now, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how does this help you prepare, as you see it, future leaders?
We're able to take the presentations that we have, and I'm speaking of the ones from my branch specifically, and seeing what they're talking on, and then I'll go to the presentation, listen, and then I can provide feedback to them, because we have a working relationship as their supervisor. They trust what I'm going to tell them. They trust that I'm giving them advice and helping them in their career. And a lot of that comes from prior conversation.
Right.
Where do you want to go in your career? And I can see where they want to go and help them get there by how they present. And a lot of it is just helping them through the nerves. That's what a lot of this is with the junior researchers, is they get nervous when they think about presenting in front of people, especially if they're relatively new and still only know just a little bit. That was my experience. I barely knew anything because I was a civil engineer by education, but I was doing ecological modeling. I did not know any of that when I went to go talk to it. So that's the first time I learned to say I don't know to a question.
Sure, we should.
I'm now very comfortable saying I don't know.
There's a couple of questions later you might want to say that.
Yes. I don't know.
Ones you have not seen. So.
Yes. And now I can say that because of the experience that I got at the RD workshop. And as Lauren touched on, being in an area, in a room with your peers, it makes it a lot easier to learn to say the I don't knows or actually defend and be able to say, I was probably wrong. And I think that's a big thing that comes out of this is just the ability to learn what your strengths and weaknesses are with research and how to present it, how to communicate that. Because we all know communication is a hard thing for everyone, regardless of who you are and what level you are at, researcher, supervisor, any area.
Yes. And so important. Tell us a little bit about this year's event and maybe kind of at a high level and the kind of discussions that'll be happening.
So Lauren touched on it. We have over 300, or right at 300 technical talks. And one thing we did this year that has never been done before in an RD event was look at what ERDC's strengths are. And it's not just our singular labs, it's all of us and our cross-cutting, cross-laboratory research that we have. So it's in all of us as ERDC. So we wanted to look at a different way to develop our tracks based on Lieutenant General Graham's priorities. And one of the ways we did that was we did not develop tracks beforehand. We developed tracks after we got all of our abstracts in. And we used AI ML to bend those tracks and develop what we have today that's going to be presented on all week. And one of the great things about using the AI is we were able to tailor it where the track titles and what the abstracts talk about have overlapping similarities, but we have equality across all 7 labs.
The quality of labs, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the
Which is completely, what I say is it happened naturally. Like you said, you didn't have a tracks then call for abstracts. You took all the abstracts that came in and then saw that it kind of happened in a natural process that it covered everybody.
So you don't have a track that's all CHL and everybody's only in a room with people they're always in the room with all the time anyway.
It's just exactly what happened with previous RDs. You know, the environmental lab automatically put themselves in the environmental track. Rightfully so. Everyone does.
Where you're comfortable, right?
Absolutely, yes. But now with this process that we came up with, they're able to have all labs integrate within all the tracks.
Which helps with the networking
Right.
aspect too, because you can see people who do work similar to yours. And that's one of the big things that came out of this year is that we really wanted to focus on and hone in on was showcasing that one track has all 7 labs in it. So you can go to that one and see many different options for presentations.
Right. As we get close to wrapping up, I know that y'all are tremendously busy as the event leads. I like earlier that Dr. Fleming, our director, her remarks said, y'all were not voluntold to do this. This is something you choose to do. So it's your fault. If you did not, that's all your, so it really, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so just wanted to let you know. But what is your favorite thing about an RD? You know, we've had 5 of them now, and what has been to you your favorite thing from RD 18 or 20, 22, 24, and 26? You'll start with Laura.
I'll say from a supervisor perspective, looking out over here, I see my young researchers talking with older ones or someone in different labs that maybe they haven't spoken with before. So that's a unique perspective I've gotten this year, and I'm thankful for that. And selfishly, from an emerging leader perspective, we've been able to catch up with all of our emerging leader group that we haven't been able to see since maybe last year, since we were in person. And it's been really enjoyable being with that group for RD 26.
No, I completely agree with Lauren. That's one of my favorite parts is seeing the cohort. Being in our 3rd year, we've been with this set of people that are the committee leads and really doing all the work behind the scenes with us. We've been together for 3 years now, so we have developed that relationship, which is one of the great things that comes out of the LDP and the ELG groups is you work with these people so closely, learning about yourself and how to work with others and doing these projects that when it's going to be weird now not not getting to work with them, but knowing that they're a phone call away if we need to. That's one of my favorites. And then just looking back over my career, I've watched myself advance as a researcher from RD18, which was my first one, to presenting at all of the other RD events and helping out with it through the ELG program too. It's helped me become a better leader, seeing how everything has changed for me personally through the RD events and where I came from and where I am now. The RD events have kind of been a stepping stone for me, learning a little bit every time.
Yeah.
Every 2 years, I look forward to RD coming around. So just the community of ERDC and the power of ERDC, it really shows through on these days.
Yeah. Right. Well, listen. There's still time in the social hour, so we're going to wrap up and thank you for the time. Thank you for allowing us to play in this little playground of the atrium, in and amongst the posters. Chris and I had to Google a lot of words to understand some of them, but we misspelled some of the Googles, so that's right. So, but to our audience, we thank you. We'll have some more time, more information on our website, powerofverdictpodcast.org. That'll have some more information from RDs, as well as links to the other podcasts that'll come from this event. And we ask you, if you have any more questions or need information as I stumble through this, you can email erdcinfo@usace.army.mil, and we will try to get those to the right people, to the experts. So it's Kara and Lauren, thank you so much. Thanks for the leadership, and thanks for volunteering to do this. So we look forward to it. So with that, to the audience, I say thank you, and we will see you next time.